Thank you for being here. In 2018, it was a 71.28% win. I mean, it's something that's been sarcastically asked now. What percentage is he going to come back with? Do you think it's a foregone conclusion that Biya is going to be the president after staying for over 40-something years?
Yeah, good to see you, and good evening to your viewers. Well, I think it's a foregone conclusion insofar as predicting that he's going to win, but it would appear that the margin is unlikely to be what it was or has been in the past. Part of that is because when people look at probably what happened to Kamto, there are a lot of people who think that he was treated badly or unfairly in the electoral context. But then also these two people, Bello, Buba Maigri, and I think Maigari and Issa Tchiroma Bakary, these are former ministers. These are people that people are familiar with. They associate with President Biya's administration. They worked for him, especially when it comes to representation in the north. So when they speak to local communities there, their word is taken as gospel on certain issues. So the winning margin will be less, but I think that is also a good thing for Cameroon, because it will indicate that the country is ready for transition. There are others that think that transition might come internally if President Biya wins but doesn't finish the term of office. He might be doing a Biden. So they are saying in Cameroon, those that support him, that President Biden in the US wanted to be a transition president. He knew he was not fit to finish or even do much in the second term, but he wanted to contest anyway, and then hand over to somebody who he would have chosen to carry forward. In that case, it would have been Kamala Harris. So there are others that see this as transition rather than that he wants to finish the term when he's 99. Felice?
I was going to say something about Biden handing over to his deputy, but I'll just leave that and talk about commendable. Yes, my colleagues report about people trying to verify results independently. But how far will that help the electoral process, considering that there is a body whose responsibility is to give these official results? How will this impact the possible escalation of violence, especially if the results vary from what the umpire presents?
Well, the jury is out. And here is the thing. There are many Africans who argue that the Western type of democracy has done nothing for Africa. People kill each other during election. The countries spend a lot of money they don't have. They would rather be using that money to build hospitals, clinics, schools, and other things rather than waste it on elections. But then you also have these civil society organizations sponsored mainly by outsiders who then use that money to do what they call election monitoring and doing all these tabulated, parallel voter, compilation and then posting their own results, usually against the law. But some people might take to the streets to try and defend these numbers, but sometimes it's also useful for them to do that, because what do you do if you do that and find that he has actually won by 80% and the electoral board is only giving him 55%? So it's also good to collect this information, to put it out there. But I mean, I agree with those that say it would actually be better if all the civil society organizations were impartial. Okay. They were just doing it for the benefit of the people rather than trying to do a regime change.
All right,
because when quickly, you do that, it becomes a bit difficult.
Yeah, quickly, if you can, in 40 seconds, talk to us about the fears of an outbreak of violence. In 15 days, we expect the results to be clear. Is there a way any possible violence can be avoided?
Yeah, there is a way of avoiding. If the people of Cameroon just realize that politics, is beyond the reach of many, they should try to make it work with whatever they have. They've already tolerated the administration in its form. There is no difference between yesterday and the day after the election, and then there can be an opportunity for transition. More than half the population of Cameroon is under 21. Let that sink into a lot of people. So I can foresee a scenario where the youth one day will stand up and say they want a transition to something that they can recognize that looks after their issues rather than the traditional respect that the African society comes with, where you have kings and other elders that stay in power forever. But they have a democratic right, so we just wait for what the result would be. But the edge would be that the people of Cameroon be peaceful in their transition, no longer how that takes.
Thamsanqa, always a pleasure to speak with you whenever on the news or on programs. Thank you for obliging us.